Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Parx Racing here on Saturday. It is September the 24th, 2016. I'm going to look at the stakes races 7 through 11, including the 11th race, which is the Pennsylvania Derby. Before I get onto that, remember, please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections. Today's 7th race from Parx is the Alphabet Soup Handicap. Purse $100,000 for registered Pennsylvania breds, 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 11 horses, including a part of an entry, traveling the distance of ground of a mile and 1/16th. If we could ever get this page to load, traveling a mile and a 16th. And my top selection here will go to the 3-horse, number 3, Granny's Kitten. Gonna go 3-8-7-4, 3-8-7-4. Number 3, Granny's Kitten. 7-2, Florent Giroux for Mike Maker. Last time out, ran at Penn National on August the 6th, a mile 16th, and a $100,000 stakes race. This horse finished third by 2 lengths that day. Had the lead at the top of the stretch and just got taken over. He just faded. Wasn't the best of runs. Basically the first 3 finishers are running back into this race today. Start before came at Prescott a mile in the Lamont Stakes for $100,000 on July 10th. This horse finished second by a neck. He closed up a tiny bit, but was just wide. He just with being wide at the turns, I think that's why he lost that day. It was only a very small margin, but I think that might be the reason why. And then a Canterbury 1 mile June the 19th in Mystic Lake Mile. This horse finished second by 1.5 lengths that day. This horse was a little bit wide and just couldn't catch the winner. He's been at the mercy of some very wide trips last few starts. I think this horse should run well. His last win came April the 28th at Keeneland on a soft turf course, mile 16th launch race for $54,000. This horse won by nose, closed up and just got the victory at 3-1. I'm going to take my chances with this one. Had a very tough 2015 campaign. If you look at the races he ran the Hawthorne Derby, the Commonwealth Handicap at Churchill, the Centaur at Indiana, the Secretariat, the Belmont Derby, and the Penn Mile. So this horse had a very tough 2015 campaign, but I think this horse should really run well here today. So to recap my bets, race number 7 from Parx Racing, the Alphabet Soup Handicap. Gonna go with the 3-horse Granny's Kitten. Gonna go 3-8-7-4, 3-8-7-4. So now let's get on to race number 7. Race number 8. The 8th race from Parx now is the Pennsylvania Derby Championship Stake. It's the Frosted Championship Stakes. Purse $150,000 for 3-year-olds and upwards. Field of 7 horses traveling the distance of ground of a mile and a 16th over the Pennsylvania Oval. Philadelphia Park Oval, actually, mile 16th they're traveling. And my top selection here will go to the 5-horse. Number 5, we can get the page to load again. Number 5, who is Mr. Jordan, going to go 5-1-2-7, 5-1-2-7. Number 5, Mr. Jordan, 2-1. Paco Lopez for this 4-year-old gelding was gelded on the 17th of July of this year. So he's a recently gelded horse. Last time out in the Monmouth Park in the Philip Iceland on the 27th of August, the Grade 3 Iceland. This horse finished second by 1.5 lengths that day. This horse, you set the pace early on, and then this horse just weakened towards the end. It wasn't the best of runs, really. Starts before on the slop at a mile 16th on July 31st in the Monmouth Cup, formerly known as the Meadowlands Cup, when run at the Meadowlands. This horse finished third by 7.75 lengths. First start as a gelding. It was a very quick gelding. They gelded this horse very quickly. A lot of trainers give the horses usually 35 to 40 days after a gelding. They took this horse basically about 15 days later and ran him. So I think that might be a little bit of an excuse there. It was also on a sloppy track where this horse didn't like it, I think. And then the South Dakota model, this horse finished third by 5.25 lengths at 90 cents to the dollar. This horse just weakened. I think he's in a better start today. Second off the geld, or third off the geld now. I think this horse should really do well in this spot. He has some speed, so going to go with this one. So to recap my bets, race number 8 from Parx Racing, going to go with the 5-horse. Going to put him into a superfecta, 5-1-2-7, 5-1-2-7. So now let's get on to race number 9 from Parx. 9th race is the 29th running of the Gallant Bob Stakes. Grade 3, purse $300,000 for 3-year-olds. We have a field of 12 horses, including a part of an entry, traveling the distance of ground of 6 furlongs. 6 furlongs. And my top selection here is the 6 horse here, a bit of a price here at 8 to 1 Counterforce. Gonna go 6-5-7-4. 6-5-7-4. Number 6 Counterforce Florence Giroux at 8 to 1 Steve Asmussen. Last time out, round of Saratoga, 6.5 furlongs July the 30th in the Amsterdam Stakes. Switch finished 5th by 5 1/4 lengths that day. Mind your biscuits, his running back who won that race. He won that race. He's running back into this race again. This horse just chased that day. Really couldn't get the best of runs. Start before in the Woody Stevens, very tough Woody Stevens this year. This horse finished 8th by 8 lengths that day. Another race, this horse was a little bit, it just wasn't the best of runs. He was just a little bit wide. The ride, I have to say, the ride wasn't the best of rides. I think Florent Giroux got to the mistake of thinking the stretch was, the top of the stretch was near. He started pushing the horse about the 4 furlong pole, and that's when you start pushing. You think, because jockeys always say when you're riding Belmont, you think at the half mile pole the turn is going to be almost over, but you still have another 2 furlongs until the top of the stretch. So I think Florent just started to use the horse too early and didn't have enough left over for the end. And then start before he came to Chick Lang on the mud at Pimlico, May the 21st. Horse finished second by 2 lengths behind Justin Squared. This horse is a little bit wide, but closed up for second that day. I think this horse will run well here today. 8 to 1, I'm going to take a chance with this one. So to recap my bets, race number 9 from Parx Racing is the Gallant Bob Stakes. Going to go with the 6 horse, who is Counterforce. Going to go 6-5-7-4. 6-5-7-4. So now let's get on to race number 10. Now this is going to start the big races. The 10th race is the 50th running of the Cotillion. Grade 1 purse, $1 million for fillies 3-year-olds. Field of six horses, if I could speak. 6 horses traveling a mile and a 16th here. A mile and a 16th. And my top selection here will go to the 5 horse Songbird at very short odds of 1 to 2 at the morning line. This horse can get bet into the ground. We're going to have a lot of bridge jumpers, I think. I'm going to go 5-1-2-4. That 10-cent super. That's going to probably pay if it comes out 94 cents. I'm not going to play it personally. I'll probably play a pick 4. I'll probably single Songbird if I play a pick 4. And I'll probably single the next race also. And go use every other horse I have in the pick 4. In the other races, 8 and 9, I would use all those horses I have on those superfecta tickets, and I would single Songbird this leg, and I'll single my horse I have in the Pennsylvania Derby, but just stick around for that horse. But Songbird, 1 to 2, Mike Smith on this one for Jerry Hollendorfer. Perfect 10 for 10. 1 to Alabama by 7 lengths. I think that was her very best race. 20 cents to the dollar, no value. She just was a little bit wide, but, just kept going. Very, very easy victory, kept opening up. Start before the Coach Cup American Oaks at Saratoga. Source won by 5 1/4 lengths on the lead all throughout and just kept opening up at 30 cents to the dollar. And then the Summer Oaks at San Diego. Source won by 6.5 lengths. First starts since April 9th, 5 cents a dollar. Again, on the lead all throughout. Something that scares me, she hasn't really faced a speed presence here. Nobody's really attacked her on the lead to go even faster. That's something she's going to figure out sooner or later. If it's going to be this start with Catherine Sophia going with a speed duel with her, I don't know. If it doesn't happen this start, I think in the British Cup Distaff, where she's most likely running after this, she's not going to get an easy lead because you're going to have a very tough British Cup Distaff, I think, this year. And British Cup Classic is going to be even tougher. But that's why I'd rather see her running the Distaff. But she's going to have a very tough Next start is going to be very tough. Not this one. The next one at San Diego is going to be very tough because I think she hasn't seen a lot of horses go after her yet. That's my point of view. She's been basically on the lead every start, uncontested. I think she should run well here today. She's going to be on a speed-favoring racetrack. So, to recap my bets for the Cotillion, didn't know that was going to be coming on loud. To recap my bets for race number 10, the Cotillion from Parx Racing. Going to single Songbird here as a top selection in the pick 4. I would go 5 for this Chalky Superfecta for 10 cents. 5-1-2-4. 5-1-2-4. If it comes in, it's going to pay about 90 cents, I would suppose, if that. Maybe even 58 cents. I've seen that. A freehold Superfecta pay 58 cents in the last few weeks. So now let's get on to race number 11. It's the big one. The 11th race is the 40th running at the Pennsylvania Derby. Grade 2 purse 1.2. Jump cut. Sorry for that cut. My computer did unexpected updates. So now let's get on to race number 11. I think I repeated this already, but race number 11 is the 40th running of the Pennsylvania Derby, Grade 2, purse $1.25 million for 3-year-olds. We have a field of 12 horses traveling the distance of ground of a mile and an eighth. Of course, my computer had to do updates while I'm doing the one of the best races of the month so far, probably the year. The Pennsylvania Derby traveling a mile and an eighth, the last chance for the 3-year-olds to run against their age group. That's something I'm against. I think that Travers should be the last age restricted 3-year-old race of the year. Because personally, when I see a horse going into the Breeders' Cup Classic, I want to see it run against older horses before that. Let's say in the Jockey Club, let's say in the Awesome Again. Now you have so many. Well, you think about it. This weekend you have the Oklahoma Derby. I believe that's for 3-year-olds. You have this race for 3-year-olds. You had the Super Derby last week for 3-year-olds. You had the Los Hal Derby for 3-year-olds. I personally think that you should have a start against older horses before a big race like the Classic. With that being said, should this race be a great one? I think so. I just don't think it should. I think there should be a maybe make it for older horses. I might sound crazy for saying that, but I personally, I just don't like seeing. I like to see horses, 3-year-olds face older horses before a big race like the Breeders' Cup Classic. A lot of these horses are going to be making their final start until the Breeders' Cup Classic coming up the first week in November, November 6th, 7th, something like that. 5th, something. It's the first week in November. I have no idea what the date is, but that's about 6 weeks away. Can't wait for the Breeders' Cup Classic. It's going to be great running this year. But this race is a great running. 12 horses you have running in this year's PA Derby. And, I'm going to single Nyquist here. I think he should be running a bang-on race here over this track. He's been training decently, I think, looking at his training records at San Luis Rey. Gonna go 9.725. 9.725. I'm probably gonna single Nyquist, I think, in the pick 4 here. Just looking over as a price play, maybe Gunrunner could upset. I think he'll be running a better race, a good race also. But I'm gonna take my chances here as a single of Nyquist. Maybe even I'll see how much the ticket is, the pick 4 ticket. If I don't single Nyquist, I'll add Gunrunner and see if any horses in the other like scratch. But I'm very confident in Nyquist. 5-2 Mario Gutierrez, Doug O'Neill, your Kentucky Derby 2016 winner. He won the Derby by 1.25 lengths. That was his last win, and he had an easy race that day. I think Mario had the perfect spot and had the dream trip that day. Basically sat second, got the lead, and then opened up. Very good driving victory. Since then, not so much. It hasn't been the best of starts since then. He finished third in the Preakness, and I have to say, I personally don't think that was Mario Gutierrez's shining moment as riding this horse. He really pressed the pace that day. I think he used too much early. He went 46 and 2 to the half. Danzig Candy, I believe, who was also in that race, wasn't his best run that day. Not Danzig. I think it was Uncle Lino who was with him that day, but setting the pace with him. But I just don't think Mario gave him a great ride in the Preakness. And then this horse finished 4th by 3 3/4 lengths on the slop in the Haskell. Again, he was near the pace early, set of wicked fast pace. Really couldn't overcome, couldn't really do anything after that. Maybe he doesn't like the slop. I don't know. His 2 worst races came on the slop. But basically, before the Preakness, this horse was undefeated. He won the Florida Derby by 3 3/4 lengths on the lead all throughout. He basically won the San Vicente on the lead almost all throughout. And then if you go back to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, this horse broke horribly, hit the gate on the way out. But this horse, that was, I think, it was a very good race. He closed up, something he didn't do basically ever before. He was far back and closed up to a very nice victory, winning by half a length behind Swipe, who was a stable, who was actually not a stablemate. He's a Keith DeSorma horse, who this horse finished second behind 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 times. Actually, Swipe finished second behind Nyquist 4 times. But I think this horse just should really run well. He's been training at San Luis Rey down in Southern California. Mile workouts. He's had his last, basically, since August the 27th, his workouts all been a mile. A mile workout 145 and 4. a mile workout in 141 and 1, a mile workout 139 and 4, and a 138 and 1 mile workout. He's been getting faster and faster. I think he should be fit. He should really do well with this distance, should really do well with this racetrack. So to recap my bets for the Pennsylvania Derby from Parx Racing, race number 11, going to go with the 9 horse Nyquist. Going to go 9725, 9725. So good luck to all and follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5. Good luck, everybody.